Hey guys, what's up? Bobby G here. Sitting here in my aunt's house, she's letting her dogs out. Figure, hey, perfect, got nothing better to do. Perfect time to do my last video. So this last video is part 3 of Germany, and it's post World War II Germany, so 1945 up until today. So right after 1945, or actually in 1945 when Germany surrendered, it was pretty much split down the middle, East Germany and West Germany. East Germany was pretty much nothing but communists because, you know, the Soviet Union had control of them, and West Germany was democracy because it was split between the 3 allied nations other than Russia, or Soviet Russia, and that was America, France, and Great Britain. So Germany was pretty much split down the middle. East Germany fell into the communist regime under the Soviet Union, so they were part of the Soviets, and they didn't really they had their own government like all the other Soviet states, but in the end, it kind of fell under Russian rule. While West Germany flourished. That's why when they reunified in the 90s, it wasn't like, we'll come together as two nations coming together as one again. We'll kind of help each other out. No, it pretty much was East Germany joined West Germany. So, and the reason was West Germany and the Allies and the democracy flourished during the Cold War. Well, it won at the end of the Cold War. They both flourished, but democracy won. So West Germany was, like I said, was split between France, Britain, and America. East Germany was taken over by Russia. And the capital, Berlin, or the capital of Germany, Berlin, it was also split in two. And in 1955, West Germany officially joined America, Britain, and France in the NATO agreement, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, in 1955. While that same year, Russia, Bulgaria, and several other, and all the other communist countries in Europe, including East Germany, signed the Warsaw Pact. It's basically, if you look at it, the Warsaw Pact is basically the same thing NATO is. It's just named differently because one's communist, one's democracy. I'll get more into NATO and the Warsaw Pact on a different video. This is about Germany. So, leading into the 50s, like I said, West Germany joins NATO, East Germany joins the Warsaw Pact, and it pretty much, at first, it kind of starts off slow, because Germany, like I said, Berlin's nothing but rubble. Germany is still technically being occupied by the winning forces because no one really wanted a repeat. They didn't want a third World War 20 years later. This one general after World War I, he's like, we gotta just knock Germany into the ground. We gotta level them hard, otherwise they're gonna come back in a few years and start another war. Well, he was right. World War II happened, and everyone's like, you know what? We don't want this happening again. We're just gonna keep control over them. We're gonna keep standing armies there, and Germany kind of became the front lines of the Cold War, so to speak, because especially when the Berlin Wall was built in the 70s and 80s, it pretty much was the front-running role of that was kind of the defining, this is the front lines, this separates communism and democracy. So Germany as a whole has kind of had a big impact on world history. From Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire all the way up to World War I and then World War II with Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. So leading into this modern age, or this new technological age, Germany's kind of had a front running because similar to World War I, after they were beaten back into the Stone Age in World War I, they recovered really fast. Same thing after World War II. Even though they were separate countries, Germany recovered majorly. They became a powerhouse like that. 1950s roll around, Germany's already starting to pay off some of its war debts. West Germany is growing and flourishing. East Germany is growing and flourishing. Both Germanys are like, whoa, did they really just get out of a Second World War that leveled them to the ground? I mean, they flourished so fast. So as time progresses, Europe kind of collectively comes together and they create the EU, the European Union, and West Germany joins that. And, East Germany's still like, we're communists, the Soviet Union, this, and this. So they kind of stay away from that. But then leading up into the 1990s, 1989, the Berlin Wall was crumbled down. And that led, when the Berlin Wall fell, that was kind of like the, hey, democracy won, America won, Russia lost the Cold War kind of era. And Germany, yet again, was on the front lines of that. So post-war Germany, or post-Nazi Germany, they started off as two separate nations, both flourishing, which is kind of still surprising considering the fact that their capitals and cities were leveled to the ground and they were being occupied by 4 other nations. They started to flourish, and 1950s, NATO in Warsaw, 60s, 70s, Berlin Wall started building up. But then in 1990, after the Berlin Wall was collapsed and communism started to, they knew communism was getting kicked out, Germany reunified under one, and they became became Germany once again, the unified Germany, not East and West. And that's when all of Germany was in the EU, all of Germany was in NATO, and they pretty much have been front-running the EU ever since. Germany is actually the most populated European Union nation right now, with 80 million people. I think it's like 85 now. The census I looked up was 2010. So about 85 million people. They have the highest population. They're second to France for highest GDP. Or they're the second wealthiest nation. Or no, they're the wealthiest nation as of 2011. They just barely beat France. So Germany's now the most populated EU nation. They're the most economically wealthy European Union nation. So Germany, in less than 40 years or 50 years, they went from being pretty much their capital city leveled to the ground, their cities leveled to the ground, then only being reunified as one nation for less than 20 years. They've already not only come back, but became the most populated and most wealthy nations in the EU. And military-wise, I think after they, after they reunified in the 90s, their militaries went from 2 separate militaries that were pretty much just allowed to stay in their own areas, like peacekeepers of their own city, to shooting way up, especially with Operation Iraqi Freedom in the Second Gulf War. That was the first time Germany and Japan were allowed to send military forces outside of their own country since World War II. So pretty much you have so just to recap Germany really fast, you have pre-war Germany with Charlemagne, or pre-Nazi Germany with Charlemagne and the unifying in the 1880s, and Otto von Bismarck, and then even World War I. Then you have Nazi Germany with Adolf Hitler and the World War II and all that. And then you have post-Nazi Germany, where Germany really, they go from being this oppressor nation that just basically wants, white males, that's about it, to this massive powerhouse nation. I mean, in some retrospects, you could even argue that Germany is a front runner to be another world superpower. I know America's the only leading world superpower right now, but considering the fact that they were leveled in 2 world wars, they were defeated in 2 world wars, one of which half their country was leveled to the ground, and now they're one of the most wealthiest nations and militarily powerful nations in the world. You can argue that Germany is the predecessor of a superpower. So, like I said, that's just pretty much just an brief history, man. Like I said, I can go on for hours and hours on Germany and stuff, but I'm just giving you guys brief history. So remember, guys, if you want to hear more about Germany, if you want me to do other subjects, just leave me a little link or something. Anything you guys want. If it happened in the past, it's history, and I'll talk about it. Anything, sports, media, television. I'll even sit here for 7 or 8 minutes and talk about cards if that's what you're into. I don't care. If it's something that happened in the past, just say, hey, Bobby, can you talk about this for me? I'll get the facts, I'll make a video, and I'll do it for you guys. So keep watching my videos, keep giving me ideas, and I'll see you guys later.